to tell you a story. It's about a woman named Eleanor. She wasn't famous. She wasn't someone people wrote books about. But she had this quiet way of living that made you think she had everything under control. At least, that's how it looked from the outside. Eleanor had a little house with a garden in the back. And if you walked past it, you might notice the roses climbing along the fence, the small herbs in clay pots, and even the lavender that leaned over when the wind passed. It was beautiful. At least it used to be. Over time, Eleanor got busy. Work demanded more. Family leaned on her. Friends expected her to always be available. And without even realizing it, she stopped tending her garden. At first, it was just a day or two, then weeks, then whole seasons went by. The flowers withered, the herbs dried up, even the lavender turned gray. But here's the thing, Eleanor barely noticed. She was so caught up in giving her time and energy away to everyone else, she didn't see this one thing she had once loved slowly fading. One afternoon, she went out back, and for the first time in months, she really looked. The weeds had taken over. The soil was dry and cracked. The beauty she had built with her own hands was almost unrecognizable. And in that moment, Eleanor felt something sharp hit her, because the garden was her. She realized she had done the same thing to herself. She had given and given, but never paused to water her own roots. She had taken care of everyone else's storms, but left herself standing in the drought. And just like that forgotten garden, she felt tired, empty, and starved of care. That day changed her. She sat down in the middle of the mess, dirt under her hands, tears in her eyes, and whispered, "I don't even know where to start." And maybe you felt that way too, like you've given so much, you don't even know how to find your way back to yourself. But Eleanor did something important. She started small. She pulled one weed, just one, and then the next day, she pulled another. She brought out a little water, poured it into the soil, and waited. Weeks went by before she even saw a tiny green shoot, and yet she kept showing up. It wasn't instant. It wasn't perfect. But over time, the garden began to breathe again. New life started to grow. The roses climbed back. The herbs filled the air with their scent. The lavender stood tall once more. And every time Eleanor stepped outside, she felt a quiet reminder. This is what happens when you take the time to care for what matters. Her garden became her teacher. It taught her that self-love isn't about one big and grand gesture. It's not about a sudden burst of confidence or a perfect moment. It's about tending to yourself every single day in small ways. Pulling one weed at a time, pouring a little water into your spirit, making room for growth, even when it feels slow. The garden also taught her something else, that neglect is not permanent. Just because you've forgotten yourself for a season doesn't mean you can't begin again. And that's the truth I want to leave with you. You can begin again, right here, right now. Maybe for you, self-love looks like resting without guilt. Maybe it's saying no when your heart is screaming for space. Maybe it's cooking yourself a meal, writing down your thoughts, or simply standing in the sunlight for a few minutes and letting yourself be. Eleanor's story reminds us that self-love doesn't come all at once. It's something you build slowly, gently, with patience, just like a garden. And the more you care for it, the more beauty it gives back to you. So if you've been running on empty, if you've been giving until there's nothing left, I hope you remember this. You deserve the same care you give so freely to others. And even if your garden feels overgrown, dry, or forgotten, it's never too late to start again. Pull one weed today. Pour one glass of water. Take one step back toward yourself. Because little by little, your garden will bloom again. And maybe one day, you'll step into your own life and see it blossoming, just like Eleanor did, because you chose to love yourself one small act at a time. Together, let's move from doubt to power, one story at a time.